take that one off again?
You want to take the whole thing off?
Yep. This is my wife's bees, and she's putting I guess there's the bees and the queen are all down here, and she was trying to get them to come up and make some honey, and I think she was having some problems. So she got this excluder. So this thing's gonna keep the queen out, and then she's got this other piece that allows a shim or shimmy. What do you call it?
Shim.
A shim. And it allows them to go, instead of coming in here and having to work their way up, they go in this little hole right here to put honey. So the queen is gonna stay down here, so they're not gonna make babies up here. So this one up here is gonna be all honey. Did I say that right?
Yeah. I know they have a little door, easier access door to come in. And then we put one frame that was already drawn out with some pollen from last year up here to kind of entice them to come out and come all the way up. And then the other frames are all just drawn out comb for them to start building, and it takes some of the work out of it for them.
Cool.
And then we filled them up with 1-to-1 sugar syrup since it's summertime, and in their in-frame feeder. We do 8 cups of sugar, 8 cups of water. And that'll last about a week. Got it?
Yep, yep. And they put this rock on here to keep animals and stuff from being able to, or even the wind maybe, the weather from
like
moving this off of the top.
Exactly, stealing from us.
So on this other one, we're just gonna...
This hive we're just gonna put feed in. It's a newer hive. It is not really strong enough to be a honey producer this year, but next year it should be. But we're gonna put some feed in its in-frame feeder as well. So you can see it has 2, what we call honey deeps. And they haven't drawn any comb, I'm sorry, they haven't put any honey in this drawn comb. They're actually eating some of the wax in this upper hive box. But in the one below, I'm gonna peek here. You can see that they are busy at work.
What is that tool called?
It's called a hive tool. So it's got a couple of different, this is how the hooked end will help you kind of lift these frames out of the box, because they will create what's called propolis to kind of seal up any holes, and they can sometimes kind of glue them down to the hive box. And then the butt end is like a little, crowbar type thing. You can use it to lift the boxes off of each other. It's from the same.
So this one has a bunch of babies?
So this was called a brood nest frame. So anytime you're looking at the difference in 2 different types of capped, you can notice like up here this is capped, but it has kind of a waxy appearance, and this is honey. And then these are capped and have more of a leathery appearance, and those are babies, they're brood. And you can see right here there's a few that are not fully capped yet, and those are larvae or pupa in different stages. And they start as a tiny little egg, and then you'll be able to see them progressively get larger and larger, and then when they're ready to really go into kind of like an incubation period, they cap them off.
Cool. And since
this is a really good frame. It has a good laying pattern, and there's not a lot of excess holes in it. It's really solid.
And what are all these guys doing?
So they are, right now, because we have the smoker out here, they are kind of busy in the open honey sections, because they think their house is on fire, since we're using smoke to kind of keep them calm. And so they're kind of in there raiding their supply.
Cool. Thank you.
Just one more too. So got it open all the way. So that one's
Just honey.
just, this one has a like we saw the ones that were a wax foundation to kind of take the work, a lot of the work out of it from. This is a plastic foundation, and then we rub like a stick of beeswax across the top to kind of entice them and make them, know this is where they're supposed to go. So this one, you can see they haven't even drawn out the whole frame yet, where they've made their own. And then this one's all honey. And then on the back side, you can see that's all honey as well. Has that waxy-like appearance.
Nice. So in theory, that's what you want out of that other side. You want just honey.
Yes, and so in theory, they are going to fill this entire, this is called a super, a honey super. It's a bit more shallow of a box. And in theory, they're gonna come up here and they're just gonna make tons of honey in it. And this is actually what we will rob from them at the end of the summer. And this will be our honey. Any honey that they produce that stays down here in these two boxes below the queen excluder, where they're making the brood nest and there's babies and everything being produced, that's their honey that they get to keep and eat off of throughout the winter months. Because when it's super cold, we don't want to open these boxes and disturb them. They want to keep the temperature pretty stable for them because that's just more work they have to do to restabilize.
Gotcha. Anything else you want to say?
No, that was pretty good.